Hello, my beautiful friends. Okay, I feel really weird sitting here. This is, you've probably noticed that I haven't uploaded in 2 weeks, and that is like really out of the ordinary for me because since I started my channel like 2.5 years ago, I have never gone that long without uploading. Like a week is like the longest time I've ever gone without uploading, so it is quite a big deal. And even the last video I would have posted prior to this video was even pre-recorded, so again it has been quite a while since I have just sat down and filmed a video, and there's a lot of reasons for that. So today's video is kind of just going to be filling you guys in on some things, what's been going on. It's been like a crazy 4 weeks, 5 weeks in my life. It's been a very difficult 4 to 5 weeks, and there's been a lot of lows, and yeah, just a lot of things have happened, and I just feel like I want to sit down and have a chat with you guys. And I just want to say before we get into anything, I want to say that this is not, I'm not looking for sympathy. I do not want sympathy. This is not a pity party whatsoever. I'm solely making this video to raise awareness about something that I'm going to talk about, and also to just fill you guys in and have a chat with you guys and talk about what has been going on. But yeah, and also, you know, if this could potentially help some people out there, even if it helps one person, if someone can relate to me in the diagnosis and what I'm going to be talking about in this video, you know, that will be amazing, and that will honestly just, you know, make my heart really happy because I have been struggling and I have felt very low. I don't even know where to begin, like, being honest. I really don't know where to start. Okay, so basically, so the last like 5 weeks I have just kind of been a bit all over the place, and my mental health has really deteriorated, and there has been like a big reason for that. So basically I got a diagnosis 5 weeks ago, and I was diagnosed with PCOS, which is polycystic ovary syndrome. Every time I say that, it doesn't feel real. Like, I've literally only said it a handful of times. Okay, so I want to try and not get emotional in this video if I can avoid it, because I already filmed this video 1 week after I got the diagnosis, and it was like a mess. Like, I was just all over the place. I was so emotional in it, and I feel like once I filmed that video, I only realised how much it was actually affecting me, and I didn't even realise, you know, I was trying to brush it off, like, I'm okay, but it wasn't, and everything like came to the surface when I filmed that video, and then things just went like, whoo, like downhill. So I feel like I needed to film this video when I'm kind of in a better, like, mentally place, you know what I mean, to talk about this. Prior to my diagnosis, I honestly didn't really know much about PCOS. I didn't know what it was. I never really heard anybody talking about it. So that's like such a huge reason why I feel it's so important to make this video, because it's so important to raise awareness about these things, because it affects so many women and it affects so many people. And I know ever since I got the diagnosis and how alone and how much I've been struggling, how alone I felt, that I definitely amn't the only one in this position. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like if this can help somebody, like, that would be amazing, because I would just love to be able to speak to people also who are going through this, because, you know, when you aren't going through something yourself, it's very hard to relate to somebody who is. So PCOS is basically a condition that affects a woman's hormone levels, and a woman with PCOS has higher than normal amounts of male hormones in their body, so testosterone or like androgen, and that comes along with like a lot of symptoms and a lot of things that aren't ideal. And, you know, PCOS is something that you really, like, ideally don't want to have, you know what I mean? You're not going to be shouting it from the rooftops or anything, but yeah, it's just something that I have now, and I'm going to have to learn how to deal with this. So because you have such an imbalance of hormones in your body that you really shouldn't have, like, a woman shouldn't really have very high amounts of testosterone or androgen or whatever it may be, so, you know, that can cause like irregular periods or no periods, weight gain, it can cause acne, hair loss, hair growth, Like there's so many symptoms that come along with PCOS. I am going to like talk a lot more about the PCOS side of things in a minute, but I just want to kind of give you guys what happened to me and my story and how it all came about. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the very beginning. So I was on the pill for 5 years. I'm sure a lot of you guys are aware of this. I went on the pill when I was 15 and I came off the pill 11 months ago about now. And yeah, so basically when I was on the pill, I have to start at the very beginning. I had 2 trips to A&E, okay, and on these 2 occasions I got this excruciating pain in like my lower abdominal area, so basically where your ovaries would be, like, you know, and I got this like excruciating pain, and this pain was just unbearable. Like I couldn't walk, I was in like hysterical tears, I just literally felt like something had exploded inside my body, and it was like this constant pain that was not going away. So I was rushed to A&E on 2 occasions, and both times like I was in A&E for such a long amount of time, like hours and hours and hours and hours. Like one time I think I was there for like over 12, and both times I came out not knowing what was wrong with me. Like they could not find anything wrong with me. They thought it was my appendix that burst on both occasions, and they thought it was something to do with my kidneys maybe, but nothing was ever, you know, found. And both times I was just sent home, and by the time I was sent home on both occasions, the pain had completely gone. And to be honest, I never thought much about that. Okay, but we're going to fast forward. I came off the pill 11 months ago and I wasn't getting my periods. So I went to the doctor, obviously, because, you know, if you're not getting your periods, that's not normal. Like, you know, you should get a period every month. And just to note, like, before I went on the pill, my periods were so regular, I would get a period like every month without fail. So I came off the pill and I wasn't getting my period, so I went to the doctor and he was like, it's fine, like some women take a year and a half to get their periods back, it's nothing to worry about, you were on it for 5 years, so this is expected, yada yada yada. And I was like, okay, great, like, you know, and he really reassured me and said everything was fine, that was grand. As the months went on and I wasn't getting my period, I started noticing more things. Like my skin like started breaking out like mentally. My skin looks really good now because I've been doing a lot for it. But like my skin was going crazy and I was starting to get my acne back, which I had before I went on the pill. But then I kind of was just thinking, you know, I had acne before the pill, I'm obviously gonna have it when I come off it, you know. But then I was noticing in the last couple of years, actually, like my hair has gotten so thin. My hair on a regular basis is constantly just getting like thinner and thinner and thinner. And what really pointed that out to me was like a couple of months ago, I went to the hairdresser to get my hair cut, and I hadn't been in like quite a while. And she was like, Jessica, like your hair, like what has happened to your hair? She was like, you used to have such thick, long hair and it's gotten so thin. And she couldn't believe it. Like it literally took her like a quarter of the time to dry my hair that it used to. And that really kind of opened my eyes because I was noticing it, but for someone else to point it out, I was just like, okay, like what's going on here? I also noticed that I was getting hair in places, like facial hair, like hair on my bum, on my back and stuff like that. So I was noticing like a lot of things kind of around the same time, and I kept going back and forth to the doctor and he kept giving me the same like shit answer, being like, it's fine, it's nothing to worry about. But do you know the way like you know your body better than anyone else and you just know when there's something wrong? Well, like that's how I felt. I just felt like I knew there was something wrong with my body and that something was not right. So I persisted and I spent so much money going back and forth to the doctor, but I was like, I need to get to the bottom of this. And it's so important that you do, and you don't goddamn let these professionals just be like, it's fine. You know, if you think something's wrong, you're probably goddamn right, because you know your body better than anybody else does. And that really frustrated me, to be honest. But yeah, you know, he then was like, right, we're going to send you for a scan. So he sent me for an ultrasound, and my ultrasound came back and there was multiple cysts on my ovaries. So I was then diagnosed with PCOS. And yeah, so basically like when you have PCOS, like they're not actually cysts. Like it sounds disgusting, like I've cysts on my ovaries, ooh. But like they're not actually cysts. Basically what they are, from my understanding, now I'm not a doctor so don't quote me on this, but what I understand is that You know, normally every month you'll ovulate, and when you don't ovulate, your lining will obviously shed and you'll get a period because there's no baby in the womb. So that's what happens. But when you have PCOS, there's not enough female hormones in your body to release the egg. So basically, like, the egg stays there, and like fluid filled sacs like cover the egg, and that's basically what the cysts are. And that's from my understanding. Like, let me just read here. It says that the follicles are underdeveloped sacs in which eggs develop. In PCOS, these sacs are often unable to release an egg, which means ovulation does not take place. Yeah, so basically, you know, when that happens, you're not ovulating because you don't have enough of the female hormone, and you've got too much of the male hormone. So when you're not ovulating, you're not getting a period, and you're not getting a period, that can lead to fertility issues because you need to ovulate to be able to have a goddamn baby. So I came off the pill 11 months ago, and I've only had 3 periods now in 11 months, and you know, you really should get your period every month. So technically that means I've only ovulated 3 times in like the last year pretty much, whereas most women would ovulate like every month without fail. But yeah, so basically, like, when you have PCOS, like, the cysts on your ovaries aren't they're harmless. Like, they don't need to be removed or anything. They're not going to cause you any harm. But basically, also, them trips to A&E that I think I had, I was told that they were probably more than likely cysts bursting, and that was what the excruciating pain was. Because PCOS doesn't cause pain, but it can cause pain if you have like a big cyst that's like popping, or whatever term they use. So I was told that was probably what them pains were on them 2 occasions, and that was years ago. So I literally like had no idea about this for like years. And you know, prior to having my scan done, he had done blood tests, because you know, when you have PCOS, you normally have very high, you know, male hormone levels, and you also normally have very high insulin levels, because a lot of people PCOS can struggle to break down insulin in their body. But you also need to remember that there are so many different kinds of PCOS. Also, PCOS, 50% of women with PCOS are overweight or obese. And a lot of people have the thought that you can only have PCOS if you are overweight. I was even told this by somebody, and that like really hurt. But you can be any weight and have PCOS. So that is not the case. But yeah, the doctor was just saying to me, you know, because my male hormone levels came back normal, and so did my insulin levels, my sugar levels. And he said, but sometimes with people, you know, their levels might come back normal, but then they have a scan and it shows they do, or vice versa. You might have a scan and not see anything, but then your hormone levels are really high. So you kind of do need to get the both of them done just to like make sure. But yeah, he kind of then diagnosed me with PCOS, and he just like, I left that doctor's office in like floods of tears, and like, oh no, I left that doctor's office in floods of tears because he didn't reassure me at all. Basically, he was like, yeah, so you've got this thing now, and it's probably going to be really difficult for you to have children, but I mean, like, there's IVF, and you know, there's adoption, there's stuff like that. But yeah, okay, goodbye. Like, he literally like did not give me any information about PCOS. He didn't give me any reassurance. Like, he literally, I left there feeling very negative and feeling really like lost and confused, and like, what is this? Like, what is going on? And the way he kind of made out about, you know, how it's going to be fertility wise in the future, for me, I think that's what like just like threw my mental health off track, because something that I've always really kind of looked forward to and has always been like a big purpose in my life is like the day I have children and the day I have a family. And I know that's not the case for a lot of people, but being a mother is like one of the reasons like I honestly feel like I am here. Like, I feel like it's such a purpose for me. So being told that, like, I think like it really just like broke my heart. And it was like a really difficult thing to hear but also process, and I feel like it has taken a long time to process. Because and then also I obviously didn't know anybody who had PCOS, so I kind of just went into myself after getting that diagnosis, because yeah, I just felt like really alone, as I said. But I also just want to say, you know, don't diagnose yourself. Like, if you feel like you might have this, go and get a proper diagnosis. And if you really do feel like you have this and they keep saying no, you're fine, demand a scan and demand an ultrasound, demand you get your blood test done, because they see so many people every day, you know, and a lot of the time they're like, oh, it's fine, and you know what I mean. But make sure you get a medical diagnosis and don't diagnose yourself, or like let someone down below in the comments diagnose you, because everyone's different, you know, and there's so many people have PCOS to different degrees, you know. When you have PCOS, you're also at risk of a lot of other like things later on in your life, like type 2 diabetes, high cholesterol, heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure. Like, there's so many things you're at risk of when you do have PCOS, because like the hormone levels and stuff in your body aren't the way that they should be. But obviously, like, the biggest kind of issue with PCOS is like fertility problems, and like my doctor like was like, oh, some women can take like 10 years and they're trying for a baby, and he said that to me, and I was like why would you like tell somebody who's just been diagnosed with this like, why are you being so negative, and like, why aren't you giving me like any kind of reassurance that like it's not the end of the world, because you're literally making it sound out like it is, do you know? And because it's not spoken about a lot, when somebody gets diagnosed, like me, who really didn't know all that much about it, I'm obviously going to listen to my doctor. So that's kind of what spiraled then, like the next few weeks after I got my diagnosis, that my head, I think, just like went. They don't actually even really know what causes PCOS. They do say that it can run in families and it can be like in your genes, but they don't really know what causes it. Like, it's one of those things that's still very up in the air. It's also not treatable. So I feel like that's probably maybe something that when I got diagnosed as well in my head, because I knew there's nothing I can do. You know, they say like obviously like healthy lifestyle and like exercise and like kind of making sure you're living a healthy, good like lifestyle, but there's nothing they can do to actually treat it. Like, once you have it, like, you have it forever. Like, that's just how it's going to be. Like, there are medications and stuff that I now know of, because I did my own research, that you know you can get when you are trying for a baby to help you and stuff. And obviously then there are the likes of IVF, but as I said, you know, I would always kind of just have rather to have had like kids naturally. And I think as well, getting this diagnosis, it's made me like really think about all the women out there who are currently trying for children and are struggling, and like my heart goes out to anybody in that situation, because like that is just such a difficult situation and it's not fair. Like, it's not fair. And my heart, my heart does break for anyone in that position, and I have been thinking about people in that position a lot lately. But yeah, so basically that's kind of what's been going on. Oh, I'm sorry, I don't want to get emotional. Yeah, that's what happened, okay? So that's what like sparked this all off about 5 weeks ago now, 4 to 5 weeks ago. And the first week I had my day, I had my bit of a breakdown, and I got on with things and I thought it was okay, but then I filmed the video and I just completely broke down. And yeah, like, I started going to counselling as well a couple of weeks ago, because my mental health like just kind of hit an all-time low, and you know, I just kind of got to a place of, in my head, like my head got so negative. And you know, I normally would be like very positive, or try my best to be as positive as I can, but it's like my head wasn't mine anymore, and I just felt like I wasn't in control of the steering wheel to my life for the last few weeks. Like, I felt like this like bloody like monkey had jumped on over my shoulder and like pushed me out of the way and was like, no. They actually say that like 1 in 5 women in the UK actually have PCOS, and most women with PCOS don't actually even know they have it until they go to try for a baby. So obviously, like, that's so high, like that's such a high percentage, and I just feel like we need to talk about it more, and we need to support one another more, because another huge symptom of having PCOS is actually depression, because they say the symptoms can really affect your self-esteem and your confidence, and I think that's probably a bit of what has happened over the last few weeks with me too. And then the fertility thing has been on my mind a lot, and I just haven't felt like myself the last few weeks. And like, depression's a bitch, man. Like, depression really is a bitch. Like, it gets in on you, and it literally, I'm so sorry, it literally feels like it just takes over your life. Do you know what I mean? And then it's just like this constant vicious circle where you're like battling but you're losing, and you're trying to battle and you're losing, and you know, depression, and it just comes with this like such exhaustion. And I just have felt like a shell of myself the last few weeks, and that's like a big reason as to why I haven't been uploading, because I've just trying to like deal and sort my head out and get myself back on track. And you know, I've had a lot of like really low days and stuff, but I think I'm getting there. Like, I would not have been able to make this video 2 weeks ago, like no chance. But yeah, and then obviously a couple of other things have happened in my life, personal things, which I'm not going to talk about because they're just too personal to talk about. But yeah, there's just been a lot going on behind the scenes, and I feel like in life a lot of the time, like, it's like everything just comes at once. It's like a shitstorm. Like, it's like how many things can you catch? And it's like the world is just trying to, like, I don't know, see how much you can take. Like, do you ever feel like that? Because I've honestly felt like that the last few weeks. Like, I feel like every day there's nearly like something else coming to light, or something else quite like big happening. But yeah, I just feel like, you know, for anybody else out there who may have been struggling the last few weeks or is struggling right now, I feel like we've just got to keep reminding ourselves, we've just got to like ride through it, you know what I mean? And our best is all we can do at the end of the day. And like, I just feel like we put too much pressure on ourselves, and I just feel like we are our own worst critic at the end of the day. And your mental health in your head and how you're feeling is always the most important thing, more important than work, more important than relationships, than fucking anything. Like, your mental health and how you feel should always be number one to you. And I feel like I've always struggled with that, like putting myself first, because I wouldn't say I'm a selfish person at all. So I really struggle to put myself first, because I always put other people first and other things first before me. And I've just always been that way. So I really struggle putting myself first. I think we need to remind ourselves that, like, you've got to hit rock bottom before you can like hit the top, and like, you know what I mean? And that's just how life goes. Like, life is full of ups and downs, and if it was a straight line, we would be dead. So, you know, the fact that we have all these ups and downs just means we're alive. And with the PCOS thing, like, I'm just trying to be like as positive as I can be with it now. The first few weeks that was not the case, but I'm just trying to be as positive as I can. And you know, there's so many women, and if you also have PCOS, we need to remind ourselves there's so many women out there who do have babies and do go on to have so many kids naturally on PCOS too. You know, we might need to start trying a little bit younger than we originally planned. It might just involve a lot more sex. It might just involve really watching our diet and taking care of ourselves and exercising and all that stuff. But a lot of women can do it naturally with just taking a few supplements and not really having to go to the extremes, you know. So I'm trying to think that way, and I'm trying to be as positive as I can be with it. And I feel like that's just what we have to do, you know. It's not the end of the world, you know. I really do hate that whole mindset that people have. It's like, how can you be depressed because you've got food and you've got a roof over your head and you've got this and that, when that person doesn't have any of those things and that person's happy? Like, you can't compare one person to another person. You can't say just because this person is dealing with this, you can't be sad, because we all have our own shit going on, and we're all human. We all feel emotions, we all go through things, and that's what life is. but I'm just trying to think of it as that it could be so much worse, you know. And I feel like sometimes when you are in a really low place, you need to try and shift your mindset by thinking like that, and that it could be worse, you know what I mean? And just think as positive as it can be. But yeah, I just kind of really missed you guys. I just feel so drained and exhausted from a lot of things that happened over the last few weeks, but I missed you guys so much, and I am so motivated to get back filming now. I just want to say that I also want to make this video because, you know, we just see constantly online, Instagram, YouTube, wherever it may be, like the best bits of people's lives and, you know, their highlight reels, and we're seeing 10 minutes out of someone's day, or we're seeing a photo, like the best photo of someone's day or someone's week, you know, and we're constantly being flooded with this stuff, and, you know, that can get in your brain. So I feel like it's also very important for people who do have a following to share the shit times and share the not so happy danty bloody fairy moments, because life isn't like that, and it's not, no matter who you goddamn follow online, their life isn't like that. Even if that's all they portray, it's not the case. And I just feel like it's very important with the world we're living in, that because I do have a following, I do think it's important for me, you know, to talk about these things and raise awareness about the shit things and things that do go on in people's lives, you know. So yeah, I think I am going to leave it there for today's video. I can do a much more in-depth video talking all about PCOS, like just talking about PCOS and going more into depth and giving more of the facts and stuff like that. But this video is more so just to explain what's been going on and just give you guys a bit of backstory on how I got diagnosed and all my symptoms and stuff like that. Yeah, so this is just a little bit of an update and where I've been. So if you do want that video, do let me know. But yeah, I'm so excited to be back now. Like, I honestly did miss you guys so much, and let's just fingers crossed this is going to be the end of the shit, and like things are just going to go up from here. Okay, me and you and all of us, it's only up from here, up from here, up from here. Say it goddamn with me, up from here. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed, maybe, you know, learned something, got a bit of information, and please don't go diagnosing yourself. Go and get diagnosed medically, professionally, if you are concerned. But yeah, I love you guys so much, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye bye, friends.